All right. This is episode 2.
Woohoo!
With Kiki and Melina. So what's up?
All right, so I got some good stuff for y'all today. We weren't so prepared last time, but we got it now.
Yeah, we're here now.
It seems like the past couple weeks that we've been trying to get this going, I've had one nightmare a week.
Okay.
And it's like my body is like, okay, she needs to get one out to
Like,
have something to
please.
talk about.
Push it out. We need it.
So I'm going to start with that. This nightmare, is there a way to communicate with people on here?
Yes, if they want to talk to us, they can reach our Instagram, our TikTok. We have a Patreon, and we have an email and a Twitter. We literally have everything. And
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm going to keep the link in the description every time we put an episode out.
Perfect, because I need to know. I feel like in my nightmare, I was watching a horror movie that I have seen before, but in first person. So like the person who's being antagonized by all the people in the horror movie, I was that person.
Oh my God.
But like I wasn't me. Like I was some white woman, like older white woman. And like I was nowhere in the dream. Like I did not come up in the dream. It was literally like I was in the horror movie watching it through the eyes of the person.
Yeah.
Of the main character. It was super weird. And I feel like if the movie or the nightmare felt so familiar, and I don't know if I'm just making this shit up, but like I feel like I have seen this horror movie before.
Like, this is definitely a real movie.
Yes, but I cannot put my finger on it. Like, I need, if any of y'all recognize this, like, let us know.
Let us know.
But, so, it's a little bit of a blur because this was, like, in the middle of the week. But, it started as, like, I was on this trip with this other woman and her 2 kids. And it was like we were traveling together, and her kids were super sweet. I love kids or whatever, and the woman in the movie that I was loved kids. And there was like this vampire zombie-ish virus that was going around that we were running from, I guess.
Okay.
And somewhere along the way, the kids got it. And it wasn't like, you know, you get bit and then you suddenly turn. Like, it was like, they caught the virus. Yes, it was slow. And, shit. You had to point out the signs and, like, recognize it. Like, they slowly started, like, watching me in my sleep. And I would, like, wake up and they were right there. And, like, they looked normal. But, like, they would start doing weird things, like, trying to bite me or, like, play with me too rough and, like, make me bleed or scratch me or something. And I was like, these kids are too much. Like, I was getting fed up. And I kept telling the mom, and she just kept gaslighting me, like, oh, they're just kids, you know, kids are kids. They're going to do whatever they do. Like, they roughhouse a little bit. Like, she, like, gaslighted me to the very bitter end. But weeks went by, like, in my dream. And they slowly like, their skin became more pale and, like, their eyes became bloodshot. And, like, you could see, like, gross purple veins under their skin.
Yeah.
And, like, they started looking more dead.
Right.
And then they got more aggressive, of course. And then by the end of it, they were, like, full-blown, like, zombie vampire things trying to eat me. And the mom was still like, no, they're fine. No, they're not. They're fine. She was normal still at this point.
Yeah.
And I remember there being a bunk bed.
Oh, my God.
And I was, like, at the top of it. And they were, like, kept trying to crawl up to get to me. But, like, I took off the ladder, so, like, they had to MacGyver their way.
Yeah.
And they, like, kept crawling up the sides, and I had, like, a bat. And I was, like, fighting them off. Like, I did not want them near me because I knew that they were fully turned and they were going to eat me.
Yeah.
And the mom was just watching it happen. She was just letting it happen at that point.
What the hell? So she's like, is she just, like, sitting back, like, oh.
Yes. Like, watching it. Like, my kids need to eat. Like,
wow.
Yeah, like, crazy. And,
okay.
And I was fighting them with the bat. trying to get them away from me. They were like biting my legs, biting my arms, and like starting to suck my blood or whatever. But I would like hit them off of me, and it was scary. But somehow I escaped, and I found this like safe haven place that was like fenced off, like a big giant cage from all the other people. Because I think at that point too, the mom had turned.
Okay.
And she was also going after me, and I was like running from them. And I found this place, and they let me in through the fence. And then we had spent like months like fighting them off and like lighting the perimeter on fire so they would like stay away. And yeah, it was just really weird. And I feel like I've seen this before.
Yeah.
But I couldn't put my finger on it. But yeah, it was super vivid because it was like, you know, we have seen every horror movie imaginable.
Right.
And we're not scared anymore.
Yeah.
And we're chasing like that fear that we felt when we were young.
That fear high.
Yes. And I felt it finally because
Jeez.
in my dream, like I acknowledged that this wasn't real.
Right.
And I was like watching like a movie. And it felt scary. Like I didn't feel like scared, like I was having a nightmare and I feel trapped. It was like I felt the adrenaline of like watching a horror movie.
Okay.
And it was like, I've been chasing that for so long and I finally
got it.
Yes, it's like, okay, so this is how I have to get scared in a horror movie is watch it through first person.
That's crazy. Live it.
Yes. But yeah. And I woke up feeling fine. Like I was just like, okay, go about my day. Like it's not like it scared me, but yeah, it felt like I was watching a scary movie, and it actually scared me.
Oh my God, that sounds crazy.
It was creepy,
and like that's so like random. Like where did that come from?
I know. Literally, my dreams are like fever dreams. Like none of them ever make sense.
What the hell? Okay. Well, that was interesting. All right. So now. You have a story, right?
Yes, I did write a story. I've been brainstorming this story since before we started this podcast.
I'm so excited. I have not heard it. So this is going to be a cold read.
Yes, very cold.
Very cold.
Especially,
freezing.
Yeah. Considering the fact that I wrote it like 30 minutes ago. Because I had been plotting it in my head, and I knew exactly what I wanted to do with the story. I've been thinking about it for weeks, but I have not had the chance to write it down until 30 minutes ago, and I wrote it in 30 minutes.
Nice.
So it's very ice cold read.
All right. Do you have a title?
Yes, it is called Winnie's Back.
I'm ready.
Alrighty. And just a little background. I think I already said this before, but I'm a veterinary assistant, so I think this is where this brainstorm is kind of coming from.
Let's hear it.
All right, here we go. Winnie's back. My dog Winnie has been in my life for as long as I can remember. We adopted her from the shelter when I was 6. We were both just pups at the time. She's an old cattle dog with a brown and white spotted coat. And she has heterochromia, brown and light blue eyes that brought me comfort and joy. I'm 22 now, and her 16th birthday just recently passed, 4 months ago. We had our usual celebration with a trip to Starbucks for a pup cup and a doggy birthday cake I ordered from Chewy at home. She loved car rides with me, head and tongue hanging out the window and barking at every car who dared to drive past us. She's been my rock for these past 2 years since my parents died. It's just been her and I against the world, until about a week and a half after her birthday. She went missing. I live in a rural area, with neighbors miles away and surrounded by open field with a couple of trees scattered here and there. She was always free to roam by day, but she would always make it back home to me before sundown. That night, I didn't sleep, worried and checking my windows every 15 minutes hoping to see a glimpse of her in the moonlight, but she never came. I cried for weeks that bled into months, but felt like years. I made posters and drove to my surrounding neighbors full of hope that they'd have her. I continued to check my windows every night before bed, still full of hope. As soon as 3 months rolled around, my hope began to fade. She was far too old to make it out there on her own for that long, and she had daily and nightly medications she needed for her hyperthyroidism and her arthritis. The depression and the realization was beginning to settle in, and I was finally beginning to accept it. But then, one Sunday morning, I woke up to her at the foot of my bed, on her blanket like she'd always lay. "How'd you get in? How did I not feel you get on the bed? Are you okay? Where did you go? Are you alive?" My mind raced to itself, but all I could do was hug her and cry as her tail wagged happily. The first few days were bliss. It was as if she had never left. She was playing and running with me all throughout the yard. She looked incredible. Not a spot of dirt on her coat. She looked as if she didn't miss a single meal. My only explanation was that someone found her and had been taking care of her, even with my name and phone number on her collar, which was now missing. But she escaped to find me, my good girl. After about 3 days, I decided to bring her to the vet to make sure she was all right, since she had been off of her medication for so long. On the drive over, she laid down politely in the back seat and kept her eyes on me in the rearview mirror the entire way there, wagging her tail happily. I rolled down all 4 windows for her, but she had no interest in that. She just wanted to watch me. After her examination and a few x-rays and blood draws at the vet to check on her pre-existing conditions, they told me she hadn't been that healthy in years. Her blood work and radiographs came back completely normal. They said it was a miracle. Her hyperthyroidism and arthritis were gone, and she no longer needed to be on medication. I was completely shocked, to say the least, and I convinced myself that a veterinarian or some kind of holistic doctor had found her and brought her back to perfect health. I decided I wanted to treat her to another pup cup since she could now afford it, but she wasn't interested in it. This was so unlike her, but I was just happy that she was back. The next few days began to get interesting. I'd hear bumps in the night, and I'd wake up to her not in my room with me. I'd go and storm through the house searching to see if she had vanished on me again, but I'd always find her in different parts of the house, just wagging her tail, staring at me. She then began doing tricks I never taught her before, like opening and closing doors, opening the fridge and the drawers, and even turning lights on and off. This was extremely out of character for her, and I began to question where she had been while she was gone those long 4 months. As the weeks went by, I started to wake up to her inches from my face every morning, staring into my soul, tail wagging. Some days it seemed as if her heterochromia had switched sides for a split second when I opened my eyes, but I'd rub the sleep out of my eyes and they were back to how they had always been. Sometimes when I woke up to her, her eyes seemed so human-like, and it almost felt eerie to me, but I'd blame it on a bad night's sleep or tell myself I was still dreaming. This became a daily occurrence, and her bumps in the night became every night. She had me questioning if she ever even slept anymore. Sometimes I would see her staring at me out of the corner of my eye, her eyes following my every move, and her head tilting ever so slightly with curiosity and fascination. But when I would look in her direction, she would be turned the other way, or find something to occupy herself, like licking her paws or chewing her toy. Anytime our eyes would meet, however, she would just wag her tail happily. She, or shall I say it, was able to fool me for 2 months, until one day her nightly bumps and exploration throughout the house became sinister. I woke up to her barking at something or someone. I groggily pulled myself out of bed and slipped into my house slippers. I was sure she had caught a glimpse of a rodent outside or something, and I was going to go calm her down. As I slowly made my way down the steps of my stairs, her barks began to turn more vicious, with snarls and growls added in. I paused to listen for a while and then reluctantly continued. The growls became almost otherworldly. By the time I had made it down the stairs, it sounded like she was attacking something, maybe killing something. It sounded so evil, and I had never heard her make such a sound, let alone any other dog make that sound in my life. I went searching for the source throughout the house, but the sounds began to surround me, becoming so unbearably loud that I covered my ears and stumbled my way to the front door. I stopped dead in my tracks when I saw the front door wide open and the moonlight shining in. I hastily made my way outside when I saw something or someone standing in my front yard. It was a humanoid-looking figure, naked and scrawny, but inhumanly large with gray skin. The sound was emitting from this being, but its back was facing towards me, so I couldn't see its face. When I stepped 1 foot on my porch, the wood creaked, and all of the noises suddenly ceased. It twitched in my direction, and its hands dropped to its side. One hand holding what looked like a coat? A fur coat? No, my dog's skin.
What? Wait, that's how it ends?
Yup.
What the hell? Okay. Oh my god.
And that's it.
Well, that was a good one. That's crazy.
Thank you.
You freaking wrote that?
Yes.
That was good. That was real good. Oh my god.
I just need to learn to read better.
It's okay. I'll do what I can.
Okay.
I got you.
Thank you.
Gosh. Alrighty. That was so it was a little short. We're at 16 minutes right now.
It was short?
Yeah. But it's okay though.
It felt long. I was writing that thing for
forever. Man.
But yeah, it could have had more at the end. Maybe I'll add more later. Maybe a part 2 or something.
Girl. Shoot, they might want that. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Thank you.
I'm excited. Well, shoot, I guess we can. Not all these have to be terribly long anyway. At least until we get more people listening. So I think 17, 20 minutes is pretty good.
Did you want anything you want to talk about?
Shoot, the Reddit stories I had ready, I actually I kind of skimmed through them. So I kind of might want to save those for the next episode.
Okay.
But yeah, I also made a Reddit for the podcast too, just in case people on Reddit want to post their stories there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put that in the link tree and then put it in the description too.
That would be a lot easier than post it on a TikTok or something.
Yeah.
Or Twitter.
So it'd be great if you guys could contact us through any of those and tell some stories that we could share on the podcast.
Yes, please.
We have literally every social media.
Yes.
So, yeah. It is pretty late. So, is there anything else you want to add?
Just thank you for listening if you've made it this far.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
I know we got work tomorrow.
We do. We do have work tomorrow. That's why we're keeping this a little short. It's 9:14. I gotta wake up at 6.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I forgot you have to do that.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna wake up early too though, because I got my plants sitting in the bathtub right now.
Why are they sitting in the bath?
I'm watering them. But I do this method where I fill up the bathtub a couple inches and I put all of them in there and I bottom water them.
Oh, okay.
They fucking love it.
Interesting. I did not know that was a thing.
Oh yeah. Way better than top watering.
What's the difference? What is it?
Well, it seems like when you bottom water, it goes directly to the source, right to the roots. Mm-hmm. So when you're top watering, it's you don't know if the water seeped all the way to the roots or not. It could just be the top roots, not really the bottom where the water is absorbed.
Yeah.
So it absorbs the water way more efficiently than top watering, and they flourish. Every time I bottom water them, they perk up with joy.
Well, the more you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm a plant mom.
She is. She loves her plant babies.
Yes.
Well, all right, guys. Thank you for listening. I'm sure we'll have more stories for you in the 3rd episode.
Yes.
But, yep, if you got this far, thank you. Follow us on all our social media and send us those stories, please.
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 It's your turn, Kiara. You need to write something.
I know. Next episode, I'll narrate something, whether I wrote it or I get it from Reddit. I'll give us something.
Okay.
For sure. All right, guys. Have a good night or morning or whenever you're listening to this.
Sweet dreams.